people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time.
A pleasant good morning and welcome to On Tour as we continue to look at the West Indies versus South Africa series. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Well, the test done and dusted. So too were the West Indies. They were beaten 2-0 fairly and squarely. Excellent performance from the South Africans, winning the second test match by 158 runs in St. Lucia at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium. Let's have a look at the scorecard and see how things finished. The West Indies, of course, had won the toss and they had put the South Africans in 298 and then 174. West Indies 149, set 324 to win, were bowled out for again another paltry 165. I say bowled out, but Roston Chase did not bat because of the quad injury that he sustained on Saturday. Affected him badly enough that he was not able to take the middle, or go into the middle rather. So we've had Kieran Powell top scoring there with 51. Kyle Mayers 34. They actually had a nifty partnership that would have excited many. Kemar Roach 27 and Jermaine Blackwood, he got 25. It was again some excellent bowling from Keshav Maharaj. I call him the second innings wicket hero. On this occasion, he got 5 for 36, but the big news there, it included a hat-trick. Powell, Holder and De Silva, the three men that he got consecutively out. And Rabada, who won the man of the match, he actually finished with 3 for 44 in the innings. A big victory there for the South Africans by 158 runs. What a match in terms of South Africa's dominance in this entire series, and congratulations to them. Before we go to our panel, we have started the on-tour cricket chat. So all you need to do to tell us what you think about the West Indies and perhaps any changes you should see for the Pakistan series or even the upcoming T20s, join our on-tour cricket chat and send us your messages and thoughts. The number is there on the screen. It's +1246 284 7554. That's +1246 284 7554. You can send us your messages anywhere you are in the world. We want to hear from you and indeed interact with you here on Tour. Now, our panel, they have a lot to say and we have a lot to tell you and discuss. Tino Best, the former Barbados and West Indies fast bowler, Johnny Barron, our international BBC correspondent, and of course, Sir Clive Lloyd, the former Ghana and West Indies Test cricket captain. So Clive, I start with you this evening. Disappointing from the West Indies. Lots of talk after the first test about batting second and getting the advantage of bowling first. They had all of that, but they still lost convincingly. How do you assess and sum up what went wrong in this test match and the series?
Well, Barry, it's obvious they capitulated again. Our batting has let us down badly. The bowlers did their job, but it's obvious the batsmen did not come to the party. But I must say that if you look at a couple of them, look quite comfortable against the bowling of the South Africans. I was very impressed with Powell and the way he played, not only in this innings before, and he got behind. He didn't look like he was quite easy, when he was playing the bowlers. But then again, if you get to 50, why not try and get to 100? And Mayers was batting quite well, but I said yesterday that it's his shot selection that is letting him down, and it did so today. But I know we've got a lot of work to do before we can get back to for the high, much higher in the rating.
Now, I come to you, Johnny Barron, as the international correspondent looking on from the outside with a perspective perhaps which should be quite neutral. How did you really see the South Africans and their dominance, particularly in this test match?
Yeah, Barry, I think South Africa were really strong throughout the course of the series. The key thing from a batting point of view is they scored over 300 in their first innings and one and only innings in that first test and got 298 when inserted in that second test. Of course, the West Indies never got near 200 through the course of their four innings in the game, and that was the bottom line, really. South Africa had a stronger bowling attack. They had a faster bowling attack with the likes of Nortje, of course, Rabada and Ngidi, and Maharaj was the icing of the cake. I just think that they were an all-round package and very, very difficult to dismantle. And the West Indies were blown away, really, with the ball. And, of course, South Africa just had too many resources for them with the bat.
Tino, I know you'll be disappointed because you said to me that the score at the end of day 4 is going to be 285 for 5. The West Indies have not made 200 runs at all in all 4 innings. So, when you said it, I did take it with not a pinch, but a teaspoon of salt or tablespoon of salt. And the West Indies, 165. What went wrong with your batting team, Tino?
To be honest, Barry, at the end of the day, as a West Indian, you gotta be optimistic because
yes,
these are the best. These are our best cricketers, and if our best cricketers can't score 200 runs in a Test match, something is desperately wrong with our programming and our structure. I don't know the situation on Chase injury, but Barry, at the end of the day, look, what is going to inspire people is you as a player putting your body on the line for the team. You got to sacrifice yourself for the team. I have, as a kid growing up, I saw Malcolm Marshall play, got his hand broken, back with a cast on the hand, Barry. I saw Shiv Narayan Shanapal got his finger broken by Brett Lee and took 4 or 5 injections in that broken finger so that he can win a game for the West Indies. And that is what inspired the next generation to play the game. Are our players inspirational? That's the biggest thing for me, Barry. From their mannerisms, from the way that they play in cricket, they're not performing well. And the thing about it is that who is going to sacrifice themselves for the team? I saw Ross and Chase on TV, and to be honest, Barry, I had this attitude that you had to carry me out on a stretcher if I play cricket for Barbados or West Indies. If I pull a muscle or if I tear a muscle, I get cortisone injections. Any player can attest to that. I can take some injections, I can wrap my leg and I can go. Are our players so comfortable in thinking that one performance is going to keep them in the team so they're not going to put themselves or their bodies on the line for the team? We can't have that kind of attitudes. And I think that once we change those attitudes and those mannerisms, I think we will get better performances.
Okay, Tino Best, very passionate there about what you're saying, and I do feel you, Tino, you haven't played at the highest level. So let's really look at the day, because the West Indies would have started on 15 without loss, 324, a mammoth target, almost impossible seeing how they have been batting. But you did talk about Powell. Johnny Barron, your thoughts on that Powell and Kyle Mayers partnership that would have, just titillated the taste buzz just a little bit, because many people were saying, hey, look, these guys, especially Mayers, who's won a match with a double for the West Indies, many people were even thinking this could be another turnaround in West Indies cricket. How did that partnership, Johnny Barron, affect the game in terms of people thinking it could have been positive?
Yeah, I was really impressed actually with the third wicket partnership of Mayers and Powell, and at some stage when they were 90 for 2 before the dismissal of Mayers, West Indies were going quite nicely. Powell picked his way to a very neat half century. Of course, he ended up with 51, but Mayers actually played another injudicious shot, which is slightly starting to cloud some of his recent performances. Having said that, of course, he bowled superbly in this game with 6 wickets, so I don't think we can give him too much sort of dire responsibility from that point of view. But it was a real shame. At that point, just before lunch, you felt that West Indies had a chance. But once that partnership finished, really, the writing was on the wall, and the wickets just kept on coming, and then the final 4 wickets fell fairly shortly after lunch.
So, Clive, the word that Johnny used there is the adjective that I think we should stay very close to, injudicious, because that really and truly is how most of the shots went for the West Indies. Talk to me about some of these dismissals that we're going to look at, because many people have been very hard on how the West Indies were dismissed.
Well, some of them are some very soft dismissals. But the point is, when Powell and Mayers were batting, it looked good. They got behind the ball. They choosing the shots correctly. But for some reason, I don't know if it's the concentration that we're lacking, because if you face the best, you face all the bowlers of such, really, and you look comfortable, then you can't just get out. You can't play airy fairy shots. This is Test cricket. We had 4 innings, and we haven't batted 2 sessions yet. Now, if this is the best players we have, well, then we're in for a long haul to get back to the top of the tree, or close to the top of the tree, because we have to. Test cricket is about concentration. It's all about that, and that's what I admired about someone like Sunil Gavaskar and the Viv Richards of this world, and Brian Lara. So these are guys you have to concentrate. Your wicket must be at a very high premium. You can't just give it away. And these guys are giving away the wickets. The opposition is they're just there, and they know that they will probably make a mistake fairly soon. So I think we have to work first. They have the ability, because you can't play to get to test play if you don't have the ability. But something is wrong with the concentration span. It is not as good for Test cricket as it should be.
All right, we're going to take a break on tour. When we come back, we're going to take a special look at Keshav Maharaj, the hat-trick hero. How good is he? Did he deserve those wickets? When we come back on tour, don't forget, join us on the discussion. 1-246-284-7554. Wherever you are around the world, send us your thoughts now. We'll be back on tour.
To the top, it's time to jump up. People, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to the top, it's time to jump up. People, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand. It's time to...
Welcome back then to On Tour. Of course, I want to remind you, send us your thoughts. The number is there. It's going to stay throughout the entire broadcast. 1-246-284-7554. Now, Tino Bessier, the bowler among us, and Keshav Maharaj is a left-arm spinner. Don't forget, these matches were originally supposed to be in Trinidad and Tobago, and perhaps the pace of Rabada, Ngidi, Nokia would not perhaps have been as menacing. But in the end, it was a spinner that undid the West Indies in the second innings in the last match, and one who undid them in this one. How good is Keshav Maharaj, and is he really worth that title as the hat-trick hero?
To be honest, Barry, he got a hat trick in a test match. I don't think that you can bowl underarm and get a test match hat trick. I think he bowls good lines, and he's very patient, and he complement that ball and attack very beautifully, Barry. And that's what you want. You want someone. He reminds me a lot of Suleiman Ben. While playing for Barbados, when you had Collymore, Collins, myself, and Fidel, and then you got Ben coming in. Look, he is a wicket taker, and the West Indies are known not to play spin well either. And the way our batsman got out against him, come on, Barry. I mean, look, I'm not a batsman, Barry, but I don't think he can get me out unless I try to mind, or unless I go for the windows. But I think our technique got ourselves to blame. We have to have a better technique while playing spinners. You know what I mean? And to be honest, I just felt that West Indies didn't bat him properly. And congrats to him for the hat trick. But at the end of the day, I don't know, Barry. I lost for words. I'm a man always ready to say something, Barry. I just heartbroken. I just felt that the guys would have fought really hard, put some pride in our cricket, and just fight hard. And they just got out so soft, man.
Yeah, Johnny, I come to you about Maharaj. In terms of international spinners, where does he rank in your opinion? I mean, he's climbing the ladder, but is he that good, or did the West Indies batsmen make him look that good?
I think Maharaj did pretty well during the course of this series. I think he ended up with 9 wickets overall, and of course that hat trick, high drama in the day, and only the second South African ever to take a hat trick in Test cricket, which is quite extraordinary. And what a catch down the leg side as well by leg slip. That was quite an extraordinary grab. to take the third wicket. But I think Maharaj is a pretty useful competitor. He's got 129 wickets in 36 tests so far, with a test average of 32. And bear in mind, he's the kind of the fourth prong of this attack. I thought the seam attack that operated in front of him were absolutely superb. But Maharaj certainly used those footholds to good advantage, and with a pitch that actually started to deteriorate on the fourth day.
So Clive Rabada, Keshav Rabada is world class. I mean, he's got one of the quickest ever to 200 wickets, and he's just well on his way to just compiling them at a rapid rate. How good is this young man, Keshav Rabada, only aged 26? Another, he got 3 wickets to add to his arsenal and got the man of the match. Tell me about him.
Yes, he's an awesome talent. The point is they groomed him after the Under-19 World Cup, which they won, and he was taken on tour, and he was, bowling at the nets, listening to conversations. He was at team meetings. So, and he went on a couple of tours. So he was groomed properly. And I think we did that for a while too with some of our young players when we were at home. And I think that is something that we need, they probably need to do again. But he is a great talent. He's pacey, he swings it, he's a good thinker. Yes, I think he'll be around for quite a while, and I'm thinking he'll be up there with the great wicket takers.
Tino, if you had to look at the West Indies performance and say, we're going to play now against Pakistan, they've got some T20s, ODIs to play against the Australians after the South Africans play their T20s. What do you think is the most urgent thing the West Indies selectors will be looking at in terms of components for the Pakistan-West Indies series?
From that 11 that played today, I will bring in Bonner. I'll bring in Bonner and Azari Joseph. I think that they complement the bowling attack for Azari. I got a lot of time for young Seals, but I just think he's not as ready yet as Azari. We got to invest some more time in Azari. And then Bonner, obviously, losing Bonner first ball with the short ball, the concussion protocol, I thought that dented our batting somewhat in terms of somebody who can be at the top of the order in that first 4 that can concentrate for long periods, Barry. I think that was a big miss for us. I got a lot of time for Shea Hope. If he's going to remain in the team, he has to back down the order. Maybe him and Ralston Chase has to complete for play, but that's a different ballgame. But really and truly, I think that's where you have to prepare for the next series in, but Bonner getting fit and getting Azari in that playing 11. I just think that we're missing the ball. We're dropping the ball in that aspect. But other than that, Phil Simmons got to continue to talk to his troops. I believe in the ball. He said, I love West Indies cricket. I'm not ever going to jump shit. I don't matter how deep we fall. I'm a West Indian forever. But at the end of the day, we need to play good cricket. We've got to be competitive. I think that we got to concentrate more on looking to how not to lose games rather than trying to win games. I don't think we get to that stage yet. I think we got to put ourselves in a position not to lose the test match and then go from there. In these 2 test matches, all it showed me is that West Indies were fearful of fast bowling. And that is something that we have to take into serious consideration about our surfaces, Barry. Look, I remember many moons ago, they got certain guys that are playing for the West Indies. Me and Fidel Edwards were bowling the nets. And we were roughing them up. And guys walk up the nets because they didn't want to face us. And me and Fidel used to say, look, if you guys don't want to face us, how are you going to face the pace at the top level? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you got to be able to handle pressure. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to become a top-class, top-order batsman in world cricket. Simple as that.
I remember Courtney Brown making the point that you have to learn to draw matches first if you're going to go forward before you try to learn to win them. And I think it's perhaps a pretty in-depth statement that they can draw on, no pun intended, if they want to look to see how they can improve. You're watching On Tour. Thank you. Tino Best, always a man of, I can't say a few words, but we'll come back. We'll look, and of course, at what the other guys have to say as they wrap up and think towards the Pakistan-West Indies series. And we'll also, of course, hear from the 2 captains. Stay with us.
To the top, it's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand, it's time to the top, it's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hand, it's time
So congratulations then to the South Africans winning the series 2-0. Let's hear now from the captains, Craig Brathwaite and, of course, Dean Elgar.
I mean, obviously, as a batting unit, we let know ourselves. But I must commend, the bowlers for the effort. Every innings, from Kimar to Shannon, young Jaden Seals, Jason Holder, Roston Chase, with some spin, Kyle Mears as well. I mean, all the guys put in a big effort, and, I must say well done to the bowlers. But, as a batting unit, we didn't put any partnerships together. And, we obviously got to do better as batsmen, including myself.
If you look at today's game, 2 for 90 at one stage, and then it all fell apart quite dramatically. I guess that's pretty disappointing for you as captain.
Yeah, I mean, we were going good, but as I said, once again, we didn't get a big partnership. We had a good 50-run partnership going. Obviously, Powell, he played well, but we didn't carry on. So obviously, that hurt us, and obviously we fought Roston today as well. So, I mean, including myself, we know we fell short. We have a couple of weeks before the next series, so I think as batsmen we knew what we did wrong. A few technical stuff we probably could work on, and come back strong again.
Dean Elgar. Dean, what about this series win? How big is this?
Yeah, huge, Hazy. I think we obviously came here with a challenge as a squad and as a management group to get a series win, which we knew is not going to be easy. Obviously, being on the road, we haven't won a series in quite some time. But this speaks volumes. I don't think we actually understand how big the series win is for us.
You've got a few guys, and you were outspoken before the series got underway, and you took over the captaincy, and you're brand new at that. How are you finding the captaincy, by the way? Pretty easy, right?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but I mean, it's something I wouldn't have taken on if I didn't think I could do it. I've got a very talented bunch in our pretty young squad. We've got a great management team as well. But yeah, I know there's always going to be teething areas when it comes to captaincy and fitting in with management, etc. But it's well worth it in the end.
So we heard from Tino Best, his thoughts about West Indies-Pakistan coming up. Johnny Barron, your thoughts on perhaps how the West Indies test team can improve. Any changes you would like to see? When you look at the 11, do you think there's anybody that's a glaring, an obvious drop? And who do you think should come back in the side? Your thoughts, Johnny Barron, as we wrap it up.
I think it's important for West Indies, for the board, for the supporters, for the selectors, just not to panic here. I think the West Indies cricket overall, over the last sort of 2 tours and all the one-day competitions they played in recent history, have made some enormous strides. They brought on some wonderful players, the likes of Mayers, of course, that double 100 they scored in Bangladesh on debut. Nakima Bonner coming into this series was incredibly consistent for the West Indies. And also Jaden Seals, 3 wickets on debut, looked a real talent aged 29. I think, there are certain problems with the batting lineup. I think Blackwood, although he got some runs in this particular test match, he's been a little lean, but of course he has got some currency against the likes of England, against the likes of New Zealand away, and he did have a score in Bangladesh. So Shea Hope coming back in the side, that I think can only be a good thing. I think he's certainly sort of quite enigmatic, a little bit like a Mark Ramprakash or something like a Graham Hick, but he's got all the talent in the world and he just needs to be utilised. And the other person, of course, I think Alzari Joseph could well do with coming back into this side. I think he's a real talent and he just needs the confidence to go and perform at the highest level.
So Clive Lloyd, your thoughts on the West Indies 11 for the West Indies-Pakistan series, which is next?
Well, it's going to be a difficult series because they will arm themselves with fast bowlers. They've been looking at this series, and we really didn't handle the fast bowlers. And not only that, they have a top class leg spinner. So the point is that we will have spin and pace, and so we'll have to pick guys who can play both. The point is that Barry, when you look at it with some of our players, the guy Maharaj, nobody tried to use their feet to him, even if you didn't sort of hit him. But use your feet to let him change his line and so on. He is not a prodigious spinner of the ball. So the point is that there again, this is Test cricket. You can't be telling people how to play spin. You must know how to play spin if you're playing at this level. And they have a couple of good spinners around. They've got fast bowlers around. So that is what Test cricket is all about, as I said. It tests your skills. And you've got to be on top of your game if you want to prosper where Test cricket is concerned. So the point is, against Pakistan, we've got to bring our A game, because at times we handled the pace fairly well. At one stage, when we got quite excited when Mayers and Powell batted so well. How can Powell bat as well as he, and he doesn't play for us often? It's puzzling. I'm wondering too now if we have to go back to that old system that we had, where everybody on tour, if you get to 100, you got some money. If you got to 150, you got a little bit more. So it encouraged people to bat long. So we had that when we were on tour. So I'm wondering if we should sort of bring that back into our system, because we need fellas to bat for long periods. Because this is Test cricket. It's not T20 or 50 over.
Interesting theory there, Tino Best. I'm going to leave the last word with you. What do you think about that?
I think that's excellent. That's the honest truth. We should move it. We should do it like how Brian Lara had his contract by MRF. Every 100 is 100K.
Wow.
He scored about 2500s. We use the MRF.
I think we need to do that. All right, look, I can't promise you 100K every time you send me a message, but I do want to hear from you. The number's there, 1246-284-7554. All right, that's it for On Tour for the test. We're going to take off our we're going to put on our colored clothing and take off our whites come Saturday, because we've got the T20s. So we're going to make you stay with us as we continue to examine this West Indies versus South Africa series. Tino Best, thank you so much. Johnny Barron, and of course, Sir Clive Lloyd. Excellent comments. And of course, from you, we want to hear as well, the viewers. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Until Saturday for On Tour. Bye-bye for now.
West Indies.
Sure.
We are the West Indies. That's right. We are the West Indies. Turn it up to the top. It's time to jump up. People, are you ready?